Ladies and fanboys, the moment you've been waiting for is here. Please join me in welcoming our incredible host, a trailblazer in the geek universe. He's the co-founder of the 757 Geek Fandoms, one half of the Unstoppable Detectives of Gotham, and the reigning president of the North Carolina chapter. Put your hands together and make some noise for the one, the only, Big L.
What's going on, everybody? I'm so stoked to talk about Raw. Raw on Netflix. Last night was the start of an era, if you will. It's the best way. I've been thinking words today to try to describe what to say in this moment. This is a whole new chapter. The world of wrestling, sports entertainment, pro wrestling, whatever you want to call it, changed last night. And I got to tell you, it was so interesting to see everything that happened. Now, here's the thing. We're going to dive into a few things. We're going to touch on some subjects. Some of you may or may not agree with what is going to be talked about tonight, but this is the God's honest truth. This is In the Ring with Big L. We are here to show you the business side of wrestling. We're here to talk about all things geek fandom, but this is what I want you guys to know when it comes to last night's broadcast of Raw on Netflix, the very first one ever done. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10 is where I'll give it. And the reason I want to, I'm not giving it a complete 10 out of 10 is because, one, it wasn't a stellar over-the-top show. However, the broadcast itself was very intriguing. Now, would I have liked to see more wrestling during that particular broadcast? Absolutely. We only got 4 or 5 matches for the entire 3+ hours that it was on, but there was a lot of guest spots, a lot of things that people kind of brought into there, and a lot of different different things that happened. We saw John Cena return. We saw people like celebrities all over the place were there. We had different WWE superstars in the audience watching the show that weren't on the show. The Rock opened the show, guys. And here's the thing that is very interesting to see. Triple H said it best in the press conference last night. They are not shying away from using wrestling terms. Before, under the other old regime, under the McMahon regime, certain words were shied away from. They didn't use words heel, babyface, and a work or a shoot. They didn't use those words. Vince McMahon's thing was just go out and draw me money, make me some money. That's all he wanted. Triple H is like, you know what? The people want to be entertained, but they also want to know that this is a business and this is entertainment in a style that it's an art form. His exact words were, it's an art form of what they do. So for that alone, I want to commend Paul Levesque, Triple H, all the people at Netflix, everyone behind the scenes that put on the show. Phenomenal show. Raw opening with The Rock was, if you follow the dirt sheets like I do, you knew Rock was going to be there. We just didn't know that he was going to be the one opening the show. They kept everything very close to the vest on this one. This is the first time I can honestly say in the world of wrestling, with all the dirt sheets and the internet that we have nowadays, a lot of stuff was kept to the vest that people were not privy to. So Raw, WWE, Netflix, they all did a very good job of keeping some of these guest spots and guest things to a minimum. You see here, Roman Reigns, first match of the night, took on Solo Sikoa. You see him wearing the Ula Fala, which means you will raise those ones and you will acknowledge that Roman Reigns is not only the only tribal chief, but he is the original tribal chief. He won Tribal Combat. He pinned Solo Sikoa. Now, was it without controversy? Absolutely not. It would not have been a tribal combat bloodline style match if there wasn't certain controversy. The one that it surprised me the most, I knew we were going to see run-ins from Tama Tonga, Jacob Fatu. We were going to see, Jimmy Uso. We're going to see Sami Zayn. The one that surprised me and kind of shocked me that I didn't see coming was Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens interrupting, hitting Roman with a stunner, dropping him. I was like, okay, this is different because he's working a program with Cody, but yet he's going to interfere in the first match of the night and try to cost Roman the match. That was just incredible to see. Of course, Cody runs out, squashes everything. At the end of the night, or end of the match, we see The Rock come back out, request from Paul Heyman to get the Ulafala, the privilege of placing the Ulafala onto the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. The match overall, I would say 7 out of 10. Again, it wasn't without controversy. But seeing The Rock acknowledge and not showing up as the final boss and not being the heel, if you will, as he was really just there to promote the show, and that says a lot about not just Rock the character, but Dwayne Johnson as an individual. Most of you may not know this. If you watch the show last night, you probably do. Rock is the director of WWE and on the board of directors. He is essentially part of the board, and he's Triple H's boss. He works hand in hand with Nick Khan. I mean, he is the guy. Now, to see his family in the audience, to see his mother be able to see her son, who was raised in the business, his father, the late great Rocky Johnson, his grandfather, the High Chief Peter Maivia, to be able to see that come to fruition, and a member of the Anoa'i family, be the top person, honestly, one of the top people in WWE is phenomenal. And then to pass that baton, if you will, that torch onto Roman Reigns, again, Joe Anoa'i, to pass that on to him and to show his support of Joe now taking the reins and the reins, if you will, and keeping that Samoan legacy alive. That right there was just incredible to see. I would be remiss if I didn't say that I would have liked to have seen a turn. I would have liked to have seen maybe Paul Heyman, a swerve turn out of Paul Heyman, a swerve turn out of The Rock once he placed the Ulafala on Roman Reigns. I would have liked to have seen that kind of that switch, and we got a part of the final boss turning on Roman Reigns, or Paul Heyman switching out and costing Roman Reigns something. That's just the heel of me. That's me being a heel. That's me wanting to see the good guy, in this case Roman Reigns, the face getting screwed. That's just my take on it. This is my show, and I'm gonna give you my take on it. And I wanted to see at the end, even though he got the old follow back, which I'll give him the ones, but at the end of it, I want to see him kind of get turned on, or something like that, and set up something for WrestleMania, or start a program for WrestleMania. So it may still happen. We don't know. Moving on to the match that I was most excited for, my mommy. Mommy's always on top. Rhea Ripley takes the belt back from Liv Morgan. And as you see here, the American badass himself, the Undertaker, the Dead Man, the icon, the Hall of Famer, the literal living legend, showed up at the end of this match, rode the motorcycle around the ring, and then proceeded to ride it back up and meet Mommy at the end of the ramp, congratulate her, have a nice little one-on-one conversation, and then they both threw up the fist to celebrate. That right there, when you see The Rock and Rhea Ripley throw the fist up and celebrate, and she herself said it is a moment that she will never forget. Someone who she grew up watching. Again, a living legend. This man in the business of professional wrestling is a living legend. He did it all. And then he comes out and again passes that torch, that baton to Rhea Ripley of, hey, I endorse you. And when you get an endorsement from someone like Mark Calloway, Undertaker, in this industry, you're going somewhere. It is you've been marked. The old term, if you go back, to the Goomba days and everything, casinos and stuff, you're a made man. In this case, a made woman. And last night, Rhea Ripley became a made woman, getting that endorsement and that congratulations from the dead man himself. I again, controversy in the ring with Liv Morgan, with Raquel Rodriguez. Of course, at the end, Dom tried to come in and play his being with Mommy again card, and I gotta say, Mommy punt kicked the kids into next year. I'm pretty sure Dom's grandkids felt that kick. For years to come, they're going to be screaming in a soprano voice, and then he gets the riptide. It took a few riptides to take Liv Morgan down. I'm not going to dismay Liv Morgan at all. Liv is a phenomenal talent in the ring. She has come leaps and bounds over the years with her craft. And the reason that is, some of you may or may not know this, but she is dating Taylor Rotunda. They have a farm village or villa and kind of farmland that they both run, and they have a regulation size WWE ring in their training facility. It's a barn they have set up. They have a regulation WWE ring, and they work out together, and they work very well with that. And again, she is aligning herself, for lack of better terms, through a relationship with another very prominent family within the business of wrestling. The Rotundas, the Mulligans, and all of that. When you got the late great Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, you've got Mike Rotunda, you've got Blackjack Mulligan Jr. You've got all these people that is synonymous with wrestling, and she's aligned herself with that. So I take nothing away from Liv Morgan whatsoever. Nothing from her talent or anything. It was just time for Mommy to get back on top. And as far as I'm concerned, Mommy can get on top of me any day of the week. I'm going to leave it at that. Mommy can be on top anytime she wants. I want to touch on something that is very controversial, and a lot of people have stated, their opinions on it. So I'm going to give you Big L's take on it. Again, this is Big L's show. This is In the Ring with Big L. So I'm going to give you Big L's take on it, on Hulk Hogan. He got booed out of the arena. Why did he get booed out of the arena? Well, there's a couple of reasons, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion about it. So sit back, and if you don't like it, sorry about your damn luck. It basically boils down to a couple of factors. Number one, we know that Hulk Hogan's political views do not align with the majority of the population in LA. This is where Raw emanated from, is in LA. California is a predominantly Democratic state. We all know that Hulk Hogan is very Republican, very conservative. We saw him at the Republican, National Convention. We saw him campaigning for Trump himself. So, at that so of it, they were not happy to see him, especially coming out and waving the American flag. Now, I respect the flag. I'm very much a believer of the American flag and all of that. However, carrying the American flag and doing what they did um, in the arena there was kind of like walking in with a bag of pythons and dumping it on a little child. Is the best way I can put it. You're dumping a bag of snakes onto a little, princess of a child, and it literally put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. That's why he got booed out of the arena. Now, am I going to take anything away from Hulk Hogan's contributions to the wrestling industry? Absolutely not. What I will say is him taking the time that he took to promote his shitty ass beer was absolutely in bad form, in my opinion. Um, I've had Broken Skull IPA. I've had the real American, beer. I've had them both, and I will tell you, I will take the Broken Skull IPA over. I'm more of a lager person, anyways. And the real American beer is it's honestly like drinking piss water. So for him to take a few minutes and promote his product and kind of get a shameless plug on national television on one of the biggest televised events of our industry and our history right now in this era. For him to do that was bad form in my opinion. I don't think Triple H would have given him the time if he'd have known that's what he was going to do. I don't think that would have been something that he would have condoned. If he did, hey, that's between them. I wouldn't have ran the business that way. If I'm talking business alone, I would not have ran the business that way because we were here to see a wrestling show. We weren't here to get a commercial for a shitty ass beer. You got Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre in their match. Great match. Now, having Jey Uso walk to the ring by a guy who was literally smoking the sage, if you will, I'll leave it at that. He was, partaking in the little stuff. There at the top of the stairs, there's children in the building. What you do in your own home, what you do, whatever, that's your business. But I'm pretty sure if that was truly what it was, even smoking alone, that again, bad form. I'm not going to say I agree with that, which is why I give the Raw show an 8.5 out of 10 because there were some hiccups that I saw that I wasn't happy with. Overall, though, Jey coming down in the ring, doing what he does, getting the big pop for the yeet and all of that's one thing. Drew McIntyre, that's my boy. I love watching Drew in the ring. I like watching him. I love, when I had a chance to speak to him personally, I enjoy watching him wrestle. Storyline wise, I'd love to see them continue this setup. I would love to see them continue this through Royal Rumble, through Elimination Chamber, and kind of culminate something at WrestleMania. Possibly, a steel cage match or something where the two of them can just literally just beat the hell out of each other. That's what I would like to see. I think Drew is due some gold. I think Jey is due a good. Now that he's getting a decent singles push, I think he's really due a chance to have a really solid cage match style by himself with someone else. I think that would be fantastic to see. But in the end, you saw. Drew hit a couple of claymores and still got rolled up in a basic schoolboy, small package for the win. I don't know what to say about that. And that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know what to say about it. But I'd like to see them continue this program through a couple of things and move on. we get to see John Cena. John Cena comes in and he makes his whole speech about he doesn't know if the 17th championship is in the cards. And then all of a sudden people were, screaming he can do it, he should do it. And what does he do? He makes a bid for the Royal Rumble. It's his first kind of match back. And he's talking of winning the Royal Rumble and going on WrestleMania, possibly challenging for a championship. Again, this is my opinion. I've seen enough. As far as John Cena goes, I would rather see him continue on a comedic role with Peacemaker or do another movie or something like that. But in the ring, I've never been a fan of his work in the ring. Even back when he talked about being the prototype, 50% man, 50% machine, that was just a really stupid character. Coming out in the Attitude Era and hitting the ruthless aggression slap on Kurt Angle, wearing those god-awful pink and blue shorts, just is, in my opinion. I talked to a lot of my buddies last night, and we all were in agreement. John Cena was a great role model for children. The man has done more Make-A-Wish requests and, granted more Make-A-Wish things than any other WWE superstar or pretty much any celebrity, period. He was very well known for doing the Make-A-Wish Foundation, granting those, back access stuff or whatever. However, I'm not taking away from John Cena, the person. I'm taking away from John Cena, the active competitor in the ring. I've seen enough. It's time to move on. You've taken your time and gone to Hollywood. Now stay in Hollywood. The Rock has come back from Hollywood and he's done a few things or whatever. And yes, it gets a good pop. But at the end of the day, what are they doing? What is Rock doing? What is John Cena doing? They are actually pulling a spot from an active competitor and taking their spot, per se. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to watch a part-timer, Hollywood whatever, come in and take a spot from someone the likes of, an AJ Styles or a Gunther or, God forbid, a Seth Rollins or anyone like that, or even, someone down the card like the New Day or Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom. You're taking a spot from any one of them and then losing a match. That's my take on it. Is you gave us this spot and, okay, now we're excited that they're in the ring, but then they lose. Okay, come on. That's a little shitty if you ask me. That's a little shitty. You should actually give us what we want to see. If they're going to be in the ring and they're going to do what they want to do, then let's give them a run for the championship. Let's give them the championship. Are we going to see that? Who knows? That's what they're looking to do. Then we'll see. But as far as John Cena, the person, the role model, 100%, my hat's off. John Cena, the active competitor, I'm done. I don't want to see anymore. This has to be the last time. His time is over. There is no more time. I mean, we're seeing here he earns an annual salary of about $8.5 million. I mean, he receives $500,000 for each match. I mean, that's an ungodly amount of money. I could retire on that. I literally could retire on that. So, I'm one of those things where I don't know that I want to. I want to see that on the actual program. Again, my opinion. Let's talk about the last match of the night. Last match, CM Puke. Yes, I said CM Puke. I don't like the man. I don't like Phil Brooks himself. I don't like CM Puke. It has nothing to do with his in-ring ability. It has to do with him as a person. him as an actual individual. Like Kobe Lopez, Seth Rollins says, he's a cancer. Everywhere he goes, he literally takes the spotlight, makes it all about himself, and I guess he just doesn't like to do business. Now, how much of that was, him and Kobe working things up and him and Seth making things, making a true life storyline into an actual storyline? I don't know. I'm not privy to that card, that information. What I will say is, for me personally, I'm not a fan of CM Puke. I don't like his in-ring work. He's got a few basic moves. He will take some punishment. He'll give out some blows or whatever, and then a GTS, one or two of them, and then he's out the door, and then he's in the back eating donuts. If any of you watched the press conference last night, what's the first thing he did when he sat down? He started eating freaking donuts. I'm sorry. I don't agree with his overall ability in the ring. I don't agree with him as a person. So for me, I wanted to see Seth Rollins win that match. I was very, very upset when Seth did not win the match. Maybe they carry this on through to WrestleMania and we get or even at Elimination Chamber, maybe we get a Hell in a Cell style match and we finally see, Kobe after 25 years get his retribution. I would like to point out one thing. Before Michael Cole, if you ever see this video, WWE, Michael Cole yourself, if you actually ever see this video, I want you to know that before you pointed out the 25-year history between Kobe Lopez and Phil Brooks in ROH and what transpired between them as far as the training goes, that I pointed that out first in my living room to friends and family before you even said it live on air. And I literally said to my wife, I looked at her, I said, did I not just say that? So before it goes live on air or whatever, and you said that, Michael Cole, want you to know that the big man himself, Big L himself, made the statement of what happened 25 years ago between Kobe Lopez, Phil Brooks, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, then Tyler Black. So I wanted to get that off my chest because the simple fact is I wanted to see Seth win this match. I think Seth was due this turnaround, this win. Hopefully this is just the beginning of something greater, and my disappointment will not be in vain, that we will actually see something come to fruition and we'll get the ultimate battle of sorts and a final resolution between these two competitors. With that being said, I'm going to give you the overall. Like I said, it's 8.5 out of 10 for me. I am looking forward to what we will see next week live on Netflix from Raw. Will it be 2 hours? Will it be 3 hours? Triple H himself said that he does not, now that we're on Netflix, he doesn't believe in time constraints. They're going to go with the flow. They're going to, if things run a certain way, that's how they'll continue it. If they need to run over, if they need to cut short, the timeline for the show is going to be fluid. And I kind of like that format because then we're not stuck to, oh, it's going to end in 2 hours, or, oh, it ends in 3 hours, or, oh, I got to wait for 3 hours or whatever. Things are going to be very fluid. I know my buddy Marky Mark and I were talking. In fact, all of us were talking last night. Calvis Rand, Marky Mark, Jedi Joe. We were all discussing the show last night, live chatting. And even Mark and I were both saying, I thought Raw was only supposed to be 2 hours. We've got like 2 more matches to go. How are they going to squeeze that in the next 15 minutes? So the fact that, they come out and say the timeline is going to be fluid, I'm very happy to see that. Overall, I think this era of Netflix and Raw, WWE that they've done is the stepping stone to the wrestling world as we know it being flipped on its head. All I got to say is, how is Tony Khan and AEW going to respond to this? Yes, we've seen them simulcast on Max. But I mean, who really watches Max anyways? I'm going to be real. I mean, you really got like the Penguin show on there, and that's about it. But if you're looking to talk about, everyone has a Netflix subscription. Almost every household in the world has a Netflix subscription. However, how many people actually have a Max subscription? So, Tony Khan, AEW, the ball is in y'all's court right now, because just like in the Attitude Era when WWE invaded WCW in Virginia, they came from Hampton, Virginia, went over to the Norfolk Scope. I was there. I can tell you point blank. We all know how that ended. WWE prevailed, WCW folded, and got bought out. So AEW, how are you going to respond? Tony Khan, how are you going to respond to this? So we're going to have to wait and see, guys. I want to thank you all for joining me on this new segment, In the Ring with Big L. I hope you enjoy the format. Again, these are my opinions, my take on the business itself. There's no reflection on WWE. There's no reflection on Raw. There's no reflection on AEW or any other political view or anything else. I want you guys to know that. This is Big L's views, Big L's points on wrestling as a whole. Now, if you don't like that and you don't like the show, that's your business. As far as Big L goes, I don't care, because this is my show. And again, I'm the heel. I'm the guy. I'm the one that you've got to deal with. And if you won't want to deal with it, then I got a couple of words for you. Sorry about your damn luck. We'll see you on next show. Take care, everyone.